mashallah, very beautiful. And now it's time to welcome Sister Masuma. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you for joining us once again. And so today's topic is about keep maintaining momentum during these months that we are blessed to commemorate. So we have a question from our viewer. Dear Masuma, I've been really good this Muharram and Safar. I've managed to keep a momentum up with the Mustahab acts and would really like to maintain the standard in the upcoming months and hopefully throughout the year. Staying on the right path can be difficult, especially in the West. And so how can we maintain our good deeds after these holy months?
Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I think it's important to realize that it will be easier to do mustahab acts in these months because of the blessings of these months. So there are certain times and opportunities that God gives us which helps us to do extra to normal. What we need to do when we're doing those extra things is, one, to do it with presence of heart and presence of mind so that we're getting the maximum benefit, and actually sort of evaluate what we're getting from it. If we can see the benefit that we're getting from it, if we can feel the sweetness of the ibadah, then that will push us to continue it. If we do it just again because it's easier and we just do it and don't think about it, then as soon as the blessing of the month goes, then also the ibadah goes.
Sure.
So it's important to actually do it with presence of heart, presence of mind. It's important to use these times not only just to do, extra du'as and extra sort of prayers and things, but also to sort of take time out and reevaluate my life, to prioritize what I want out of life, to think about, where I am, where I should be, what's stopping me from being where I should be, what are the wajib actions that I'm not doing so well, that I need to improve on, what are the haram actions which maybe, I'm sort of getting too close to the sort of the line that's on the sand, because again, it becomes very blurred when you get that close to it. So spend this time to actually sort of, just contemplate and think about what I want to change. So I'm not doing it just without thinking. And when I'm doing these actions, actually feel the benefits of these actions, connect to my soul, feel this, my soul actually getting stronger and feel that connection with Allah. It's
because they're already feeling it, aren't they? They're saying that I have got to a good place. Alhamdulillah, they're feeling that, satisfaction or blessing, however, we want to interpret that. But so to keep that, they must realize it was the ibadah that helped them.
So actually sort of, just realizing what it is that they were doing that's helping them. Yeah. But I think sometimes what we do is we feel it, but because we feel so good about it, we don't actually focus on it, and then we just move on. So if we can actually focus on the feeling and actually realize that this is what I want, this is where I want to be, then when the rest of the time when life takes over, if I can go back to remembering that feeling that I felt and bring it back to my mind, that'll give me the push that I need to keep that momentum going. Yeah,
because you're obviously at a high, a spiritual high, and that's what you're feeling, the momentum. You're feeling that I'm at a good place because obviously your soul is telling you that. And then to sort of keep, sort of a measure. And like you said, I think in a previous program, that we will drop. It's natural that we go into this world of materialism and constant pressures on our physical selves that we can easily neglect what our soul needs. So it's to kind of keep it up.
Yeah. So making sure even if we drop, we don't drop back to where we were, but we're still a little bit higher than when we were.
And sometimes, do you think we can just be so hard on ourselves that? There's a hadith from Imam Ali, I can't remember exactly the wording, but it's like, don't pressure yourself to, do. So sometimes you feel tired, and you may do a daily dua and or your nawafil with your maghrib, isha prayers, and then suddenly one night you're feeling tired, or maybe in a phase you're going through, you're physically feeling battered, soul is feeling battered, that you think, I need a bit of a rest so that I can come back and be stronger. Is that something that we can? It's sort of be easy on ourselves rather than always think that we have to.
Yeah, no, I think it's important not to push yourself too much, but at the same time not be too easy on yourself as well. So I think it's recognizing that I need to ensure, first of all, I need to ensure that the wajibat's done, that there's no compromise on that. So whether I'm feeling tired, lazy, ill, it doesn't matter. The wajib actions have to be done.
Sure.
And so that's really, really important. And giving the importance to the wajib actions, so not just doing them as a tick box exercise, is really, really important. Then, you know, when I'm feeling on a high spiritually, then do more, as much as I can, and actually push myself then. When I'm feeling a little bit low, then maybe not do as much, but still do a little bit.
Yes,
So constantly be doing, so you're pushing yourself a little bit, but not too much that you sort of start resenting it. The important thing is to not resent it, but at the same time not allow shaitan to stop you from doing it. So what I think, and also not make it a tick box exercise. Sometimes I think we get into the habit of doing something and it becomes then ritualistic.
Yeah.
And then you're doing it without presence of mind or presence of heart. So for someone who, for example, maybe recites Dua Kumal every Thursday night, which is brilliant, alhamdulillah, you know.
Yeah.
But then, you know, if you're doing it just because you've got into the habit of doing it and it becomes ritualistically and you're not paying attention to it, and you're actually then turning the pages to see, you know, when it's finishing because you're tired, it's not serving any purpose. So maybe thinking, okay, you know what, it usually takes me half an hour to recite Dua Kumal. Today I'm obviously not connecting to the dua. So rather than reciting Dua Kumal, let me do some other ibadah for half an hour.
Doesn't it say at the beginning that, you know, even if you recite, or is it Imam Ali says, is it that you, even if you read one sentence and you read it
with presence of mind.
With presence of mind. So even if it's not sort of every day or every week, that it's, you know, not to let it go, but not to be so that, like you said, ritualistic and thinking that it's...
And also not stopping, you know, so if I've allocated a certain amount of time for the ibadah, realize that maybe today my soul needs another type of ibadah.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like food.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I want pizza, sometimes I want, I don't know, you know, meat or something. It's different. You know, you feel like different. And it's the same with the soul. Sometimes it connects to the Holy Quran, sometimes it'll connect to a dua, sometimes it'll connect to a salah. So again, it's, you know, just doing different things, but ensuring that I'm trying to sort of give my soul what it requires when it comes to the mustahabat. But it's giving that extra time. It's
really amazing because I think, you know, while we're thinking that it's actually our ibadah that we've done, that's done so well, but if you think about it, these months are such a blessing for us, aren't they? That almost as though the sacrifice happens so that it could be almost an excuse to allow us to bring us back to the point of origin where we're meant to be central, focus on Allah. And I think I remember sort of in a trip to Mashhad, and, you know, the nights are so beautiful and peaceful in any holy shrine. But again, it's not because you're doing anything special. You could be doing that, you know, Salatul Layl at home, but it's because of the vicinity of that Masum, that their blessings, that Allah has eternally blessed their souls, that we also have our souls sort of, you know, aligned with that, you know, invincible and invisible kind of, you know, you see the blessings that, you know, are there, and you think that angels go around those circumambulate their shrines. So it's also not putting too much emphasis on yourself, is it, that, oh, I'm so good, that, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. But again, I think once you feel that connection, then you want it and you want to continue. And that's the whole idea of these, you know, holy places, holy months, is to actually feel the sweetness of the ibadah so that you want to then continue it. I think, you know, a lot of the times we do it resentfully. We do it because we don't have a choice, because we have to do it, because it's a wajib action, so it becomes, again, a tick box exercise. Or we do it ritualistically because we've got into the habit of doing it. But if we can actually feel the sweetness of the ibadah, if we can feel that connection, then you
take it to another level.
And that will then give you that, you know, that push, that drive that you need to sort of keep you going.
No, that's beautiful, absolutely. So it's really bringing the heart into it so that you can really benefit from what you're doing. Because I think, yes, it becomes, not to say it's a burden, but if somebody's doing it ritualistic every week and then it becomes like, oh yeah, I've got to do that. But, you know, you're absolutely right, you really need to be...
Yeah, and then I think then it becomes, you get that sort of arrogance and pride that comes from it. Oh, I do this every week. Whereas if it was something that was done for the soul, it would bring that humbleness within it rather than arrogance.
Right.
So again, if you're feeling proud of yourself, then you know that maybe you need to sort of realign your niyyah again and sort of correct it slightly, because obviously any sort of ibadah should bring humility and humbleness within yourself, not arrogance.
Yeah, definitely. And it's amazing how shaitan pats us on the back and then we do it ourselves, like, you know, wow, we're in a good place. But
and also I think one of the other things maybe to think about is, you know, we actually take time out of our normal daily routine to do these extra things. And then when these special days are over, we go back to our normal routine, and we feel that we're too busy then to continue with the ibadah.
Yeah.
But we can actually find time, because I think a lot of the times we're busy trying to be busy.
Yes.
And I think, you know, if we can find time, it's like, you know, when you become, you know, if you remember the first time you had your child, and it's like you think, oh my God, there's not enough hours in the day to look after this child and do everything that needs doing. And then suddenly you get a second child, and all of a sudden you're finding extra time to do all of these things, and you're thinking, where did that time come from? So it's again realizing that there is time, and I just need to then just, you know, make sure that I put that time aside to do my ibadah.
Because it's so true, isn't it? I think we go through life thinking, you know, oh yeah, I'll do that later. You know, you know, your parent could be calling you, and you're like, yeah, I'll come and see you. And you think, you know, before, God forbid, they go from this, make that time, you know, and you know, you'll do it for your children. But it's so, you have to do
it consciously.
It's so true. And just as a final point, so we build a momentum, we protect ourselves in those holy nights, we, you know, stay away from sort of normal routine, we're at the mosque more. Taking it forward, how would you say is, what kind of things could be a hindrance for us in the West, sort of like, you know, or anywhere actually in this world, it's not much difference anywhere, that how temptation is everywhere. So what is it that we need to protect ourselves from that sort of can affect our souls?
I think, like you said, it is anywhere, but I think more in the West we have this concept of instant gratification. We have this subtle brainwashing that's constantly happening, where it's all about the material world. You know, it's all about me. It's all about I. You know, it's like, what am I getting out of it, sort of thing. So I think one of the you know, the beauty of Muharram is to actually go back to the Ahlul Bayt and use them as role models and see how they lived their life and how simple their life was, and bring that into my life and sort of think about, you know, I want to, you know, if I love them, then I need to emulate their life. Otherwise, what's the point of that love?
Absolutely.
Yeah? So that will then take away all the other hindrances that we have, because then I'm actually trying to live my life according to the way that it should be led, rather than the way that the West or you know, other people are telling me to live my life.
No, it's very true, isn't it? So I think it's putting the theory and the knowledge that we have into our own lives and into ourselves, because we're so busy, or we can be, focusing on others. And it's easy to see others because it's in front of you, but what's inside of you is so much worse, isn't it? That, you know, we don't necessarily, we don't need to confront it if it's hidden, self-concealed. The ego will not allow you to see it.
How many times do we listen to, you know, something, you know, some sort of majalis or something where we hear something, I've got to tell that to my child, or I've got to tell it, you know, to my
I
friend.
know that person. It's
and
true.
you're just like, you heard it for a reason. You know, God put you in this position, and you actually heard this for a reason. So maybe just self-reflect on, you know, what can I take away from this?
Definitely, absolutely brilliant words of wisdom. I think, inshallah, people can benefit and continue the momentum, which is so important, I think, you know, to give yourself that boost, and then obviously that's a charge and a recharge, but then to somehow keep it going. Thank you so much. Inshallah, we'll see you again soon. And next up are the mini Hussainis.